Hello, YouTube. Hello, Thomas. Can you hear me? And could you hear Sassy, the dog? Thank you. Yeah, Sassy decided she needed to bark a little, just as I was starting. These are the days. Thomas, I don't recall exactly. Are you in New York? It doesn't matter. I guess the question is, are you planning on watching the Orville tonight? Do you have a way to watch the Orville tonight? Out of curiosity. Pennsylvania. Okay. Well, from what I can see, the Eagles, so they may be your team, I'm not sure. The Eagles are up 17-0. And it was just the end of the third quarter. So, barring some miraculous comeback, it would seem very likely this game will end on time and not go to overtime. So we have a pretty good shot the Orville will start. It's actually scheduled to start at 8:02 p.m. There's 2 minutes they scheduled for a trailer for some, I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show, before the Orville. So the Orville time slot is actually 8:02 to 9:02 p.m. Eastern tonight. So it's getting ready to, just looking forward to watching that in less than 2 hours. Who else is here? I see 4 people watching now. Anyone else want to say hello? I only ask because it determines whether the next thing I bring up is that anti-tracker super chat from yesterday or something else. Hello, Josh. My money is on CBS wanting to get people to watch STD. Well, I'm sure they want people to watch, but they don't have a hell of a lot of say over it. At least not when it comes to Fox airing the Orville, unless they're going to pay Fox some ungodly amount of money to buy the Orville and then shut it down. But I don't think even CBS has that kind of money to waste on being vindictive. They'll simply just try to steal the Orville formula, like they clearly tried to do in their season 2 trailer at the end, and assume that everybody will like Star Trek Discovery all of a sudden because they're being funny like the Orville, because they don't get the nuances and the differences that come in giving a quality sci-fi TV show like the Orville versus what we got in STD. Darth, hello Darth. Good to see you. Okay, so since we've got at least three people here from Anti-Tracker's stream, I'm not sure who the other couple are, but you guys may have known that last night Anti-Tracker sent me the super chat to view ahead of time because he wanted my opinion on it and whether it should be an Uber chat or not. And because it was, I'd say 85% the same material as the original super chat, I really didn't think the extra 10 or 15 seconds added on justified charging an Uber chat for it, although if people keep asking for it, he might move it up to Uber chat. But one thing at the very end of it that I think now I mistook and kind of changes the whole feeling for me. And I want to get your opinions on it. Is what is Anti-Tracker holding in his hand in this last scene? I'm going to be honest. When I watched it the first time, I just assumed he was holding the plug, like the power plug for the computer, or maybe the internet plug, jack line, whatever, that he had unplugged Josh's computer so he couldn't upload it or do whatever. In looking at it again, though, no, it's not that, Darth. But in looking at it again, I'm starting to think like Josh. It looks more like his belt or a belt. Now, holding out a belt is a whole other side of Anti-Tracker that I would never have thought of. I didn't think of Anti-Tracker as a belt-wielding person. Now, obviously, this is still just a cartoon and a joke. But for Joshua to draw it as a belt, I'm wondering if there's a part of him we haven't seen, or something Joshua was trying to tell us. I laughed hysterically because I assumed it was a power cord, but in rewatching it last night, this morning, when I watched the live stream from last night after I woke up and it was playing over and over again, it started looking more and more like a belt to me. So I wish Anti-Tracker was here tonight, though I know it's Sunday and him and the missus are doing their thing. I'd really like to get clarification, and might even have to get it from Joshua if he's ever on again, whether that is supposed to be a belt or supposed to be a power cord, because it changes the whole feeling, in my opinion. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. Remember, he's a midget. Yes, I know. The theory Anti-Tracker has no real legs because we don't see them. They're not canon if we don't see them on screen. Maybe it's a hint at something AT does. Yeah, I just don't think Anti-Tracker is one of the people who'd be beating his son with a belt. I just have a hard time imagining it. But man, it's funny if it is a belt that he's supposed to be holding. Didn't he pull the cord in the animation, and the animation went to that picture? Yeah, you see, that's the thing. Was it That's why I assumed it was the cord, like he pulled the cord out and then like, oh, the screen died. But in the first part, you know, it went from him, the turd and Lore kissing, to Anti-Tracker and Josh and Scarved Insect, to be technical, with no cord being pulled out, at least not visibly. So, I mean, I don't know that it's necessary that the cord need to be pulled out for the scene to change like that. I could be nitpicking, but that's what Anti-Tracker likes to do, so I'm sure he will not hold me responsible for nitpicking too much. The look in the eyes of Joshua's avatar, as if the power cord, the look of fear, wouldn't make sense. Yeah, I agree. The eyes look more like the power cord. But, I mean, if it was a power cord, you'd think he might have drew 2 or 3 little prongs, right? If there were 2 or 3 prongs on the end, no question whatsoever, it is a power cord. That just looks so much like a belt buckle. I mean, a black belt and a belt buckle. I don't know. Why no picture tonight, Darth? To be completely frank, I only got washed not that long ago, and I didn't bother putting on a shirt. So I'm just wearing a hospital gown. So no picture tonight. Plus, frankly, I seem to get better numbers streaming when I don't show my face. Although I'm not going to stop showing my face. If I had clothes on, I would have put on my face. But I don't. And even if I accidentally hit the webcam, you won't see me because, as a safety measure, there is always a piece of tape over the camera of my laptop, except during those times where I intend to actually be on camera, because there are just too many things that this camera would catch if I accidentally ever forgot to turn it off, let alone if hackers ever got to it. Just the reality, when you live and get washed in a hospital bed, the camera sees things no one wants to see. So, yes, I'm okay, Darth. This is just me talking, being honest. AT likes to nitpick. I'm shocked. I know, Thomas. We're all shocked. Darth, we don't need no more topless men. Exactly. We don't need any more topless men. As long as you're comfortable. I am comfortable. You're paranoid. I'm not paranoid, okay? Even what's his face? Mark Zuckerberg, the head of Facebook. His laptop, he puts a piece of tape over the camera. I'm sorry, but every person in this world with a camera on their laptop, assuming they leave their laptop open while they're doing things other than working on their laptop, should have a piece of tape over the camera on their laptop. If you have a camera on your television, you should have a piece of tape over that camera. There should be no camera pointed at you or possibly pointed at a public or worse, private place in your house, right? I mean, some idiot would put a camera in his bedroom or something. for security, thinking, oh, he's the only one who's ever going to see it. No. Okay, there are thousands of cameras right now on websites you can go to that people didn't secure or didn't know what they were doing, and they're just literal cameras open to the public inside people's homes, inside people's businesses, that you can just watch. And even if you know what you're doing, just imagine what the bad actors, the hackers, or the government sanctioned back doors that have been put into things that are out there. I mean, I put a piece of tape over my camera because I just don't want pictures getting out. Not that I ever think they'd be sent public, because they wouldn't be. They would just be kept by whoever, or probably deleted. But why even take that chance? The sadder reality is that if you have a microphone, like almost every laptop today has a built-in microphone, that should probably be disconnected too. I wish if there was there should be a physical on-off switch to disconnect the microphone. I wish there was, but there isn't. So I just have to assume that anything you say could be being recorded without you knowing it. So yeah. You call me paranoid if you want, but it's just because I know what can be done. I know the things that can happen. Josh Street says, Darth Bird has the other family that he doesn't want people to know their faces over right now. Yeah, no. Nobody here but my mom and my dog right now. And Sassy will get on camera one day, but not today. I'll have to set up the other camera that I can point towards the floor or her bed so people can see her. Right now she's playing with one of her toys. Darth Raven says the government is taking your pictures. It might be. Or some other government, China, Russia. Who knows? Josh Street says, good thing I turn off my camera and the Wi-Fi card on my laptop. And Thomas says, someone can turn your camera on. Darth says, I have an on-off switch on my mom. Okay, Darth, if you do, or she's like Data, you can turn her on and off. No, Darth, no. Why do you always have to get so dark? He says off is a brick, on is no brick. No, I call you Jojo. Not if it isn't hooked up to the internet. The government already has his picture. It's true. I mean, the government has pictures of me, that I've submitted to them for licenses, for passports, for gun permits, and for all sorts of reasons. They have pictures of me. but they probably don't have pictures of me being washed and changing and all those things using the vacuum and the things I do in front of the camera. So, the Orville, Season 2. We are an hour and 15 or so minutes away. I'm a little surprised that, according to that channel that seems to know what they're talking about, Egotastic Fun Time, that tonight's episode is not the leftover episode from Season 1. But instead some other episode that I can't pronounce, and that supposedly it involves Bortus going back to his home planet, as opposed to whatever the leftover episode was, or Alara going home because we know she gets replaced this season. So I'm kind of curious as to whether Alara is even in this episode, because it wasn't filmed before she left the show, as much as best we know. So my guess is if she is in the episode, it could have just been cut scenes that they had cut from earlier episodes that really have nothing to do with the main plot. Or I'd be really curious if they did have her do one episode this season, just to kind of write her out in a better style than just they would have otherwise. So that'll be cool to see. And honestly, I miss a good sci-fi show. I mean, it felt like watching the Orville last season. Other than the first episode, every other episode was like better than the one before it, for the most part. And the ones that weren't quite as good as the one before it were still very, very good episodes. I mean, only the first episode I would rank as perhaps average, maybe even a little below average, but average at worst. I mean, there's the episode where they find this giant ship that's traveling with all the people on it. They think they're on a planet. That was an excellent episode. The 2D space was an excellent episode. The episode where Isaac gets trapped with the kids, with the doctor's kids on that planet, an excellent episode. The episode with Derulio coming back on and his pheromones causing everyone to fall in love, we'll say. It was an excellent episode. I mean, just the people talking about the implications, the moral implications of what happened there. Just doing the conversation of what is rape or what isn't rape, or what is sexual assault, what isn't sexual assault, and the whole thing of, well, different cultures call it different things. I mean, that was a crazy conversation to have, considering the climate at the time. It's the same as it would be today, but they actually found a way to get people talking about it. The Krill episode, where they go out of the way to save the Krill children, and the woman says, well, they're your enemies now. And they're right. The sex change operation for Bortus's child, and that things don't always have a storybook ending, but that the different, I mean that, and then maybe the number one of the season, the only in hindsight would I say it's number one of the season, but the one where everybody was judged on like a Facebook plus or minus like and dislike system. I mean, that's more absurd because in the past year we've moved closer to that system than we were even when that story came out, and when that episode was released. If we thought we were living in that world or headed to that world a year ago, a year later we're only closer to it. So that is crazy. The zoo episode, and then of course the last episode where Kelly becomes a religious figure. I mean, every single episode was a great episode, and without the bounds of 50 years of prior canon to worry about, of having to say, a ship can't do this, or this species never met that species before. Just the fresh start, the fresh universe. I mean, you knew everybody's name on that crew within 12 episodes. Discovery had 15 episodes, and I still don't know the names of most of the crew members on board Discovery. Total black and white difference. Back to the comments. People have told me I don't read the comments enough, that I need to be more interactive with the audience. At Bird of Prey 5 from Josh Street. Do little girls made from sugar and spice and everything nice stop since your name is now Mojo Jojo? What? Okay, my name is not Mojo Jojo. Okay, my name is Joe, or Bird of Prey 5, or if you really, really want to be ridiculous, you say Jojo. I don't know where Mojo Jojo even came from. Darth Raven says, check Discord. I sent you a picture of my beautiful Molly in her jammies before bed. Your dog has pajamas? I love the concept of 2D space. They see life in 2D, and they can't comprehend the 3D ship above them. Yeah, well, the 2D space, I mean, to be perfectly honest, TNG did that too. Of course, it was done completely different, but the concept of 2D life forms was nothing new to sci-fi fans. I'm checking Discord, Darth. Aw, there's your Molly. Should I put it up on Discord, Darth, or is that a private picture? Darth, you may have said you named me Mojo Jojo, but it doesn't make it true. Go ahead. Okay. So this is Darth's dog. Molly. in her pajamas, apparently. Aw. Very, very cute, Darth. So, actually, as long as I'm at the web browser, there is this website that, it's kind of a game, but it's a website where you literally, it's completely public, and it's just one big empty canvas, and anybody with a browser, whether mobile or desktop or any web browser more or less, can just draw. The only limitation is that you're drawing pixel by pixel. Like you click a pixel color here and you put a pixel down, and then you got to wait a few seconds to put the next pixel. And depending if it's an empty space like I'm drawing here, it only takes a couple of seconds, like 3-4 seconds, for the pixel to be taken. But if the space is already, and I don't want to ruin somebody else's nice design here, but if the space has already been taken, then then it takes longer to for the pixel to come free. So it's actually pretty cool. You can find all kinds of things. I mean, some people must have spent hours and hours working on some of these things. Of course, it's not really appropriate for children, but there are some real works of art in here, and you can zoom in, you zoom out, you can find yourself an empty space, and you can just start working on it. You can see somebody's already started the American flag. If you want to help them, like say, you can fill in a pixel for them, or 2 or 3, and people go ahead and start doing collaborative works. And I mean, I spent only maybe 20-30 minutes just making a very, very little thing here that says JUOT.net Birdo Prey 5, and a poor representation of the Klingon symbol. But that was my little section. I bordered off and drew in. Of course, tomorrow or even an hour from now, somebody could come by and wipe it all out. You don't know what will happen. So yeah, it's fun. I'm going to drop in the URL if anyone is interested in in drawing or wasting some time. Go ahead and do that. In the meantime, I see Egotastic Fun Time has gone live in his Orville pre-show. So it's basically Minecraft. It's basically 2D Minecraft, yes. Chief Engineer Mr. Miles, with no enemies except trolls and people who go around trying to destroy your work. And how would I find your beautiful drawing? Well, the link I pasted in has that, if you notice, it has that P equal 950 point whatever. That is actually the link so that you open up right where I drew what I drew. As you move around the board, the URL will change. So when you, if you make your own work of art, you can just copy the URL and give it to someone, and it will zoom in on the place you selected. But as I said, Egotastic Fun Time has gone live, so I am going to sign off, you guys. It was good talking to you all. We're going to watch the Orville in an hour, and Qapla. I hope you all enjoy it. Good night.